the discussion around unaffordability is one that I think in Sydney and in Melbourne is prevalent. But what we need to do is unpack that and see, okay, then what are the options? What are the things that we need to look at? Obviously, supply is the key one, and that's what the Treasurer pointed out yesterday. The more that we can do to get more supply into the housing stock, I think it's important. But I think also that we do have to look at, okay, why is it that people want to be living, especially in those inner parts of Melbourne and Sydney? And should we be having a discussion around, okay, well, should these people be looking elsewhere? I mean, if you go to other capital cities, housing is more affordable. If you go into regional and rural areas, there are, a number of options. You can get very good housing stock at good prices. And I think what we do have to, the price will always dictate demand. And I think some people might need to cast their horizons a bit wider and think, okay, well, what are my options if I want to start a family? It might be that, as my first choice of housing going into inner Sydney or inner Melbourne isn't a realistic option for me. Maybe I do have to look elsewhere.
People can choose to live where they like in this country. That's fact number one. Fact number two is even when you get outside of the inner rings of Sydney, you are still faced with enormous hurdles. I gave you just one example of an area in my electorate where even buying a new home in these new suburbs will take you close to the $900,000 mark. But let's be clear, this isn't just an issue of the inner city or an issue of new homes. This is an issue of housing affordability that affects people right across the whole spectrum. And it's one that I have been getting feedback on directly over the last couple of days from people who live in older parts of my electorate, more established parts. It goes across ethnicities. People are concerned about their children and their grandchildren being able to get enough money to afford to live. And one of the most fundamental tenets of living in our society is the ability to afford a home.